Hello, my name is Nick Huntington-Klein. In this video, I'm going to be talking about asymmetric information and signaling. So asymmetric information is what happens when you have two people in a market and one of them knows something that the other one does not. And this person knows that they know something that their person does not, but they don't know what it is. So a classic example of this is something called the market for lemons. This is an example relating to the old market for used cars. Now, this isn't really so much the case anymore, and we'll talk about why in a bit, but it used to be the case that the market for used cars was particularly shady. It was known for being very, very shady, and you would expect very commonly to end up with a car that just wasn't very good. And the problem that we have here is that the car dealer has checked out the car, knows exactly how good the car is, knows a lot of stuff about the car that you, as the buyer, don't know. And you know that the dealer has more information than you, but you don't know what it is they know. You just know that they know it, okay? It's asymmetric information. They know something, you do not. Now, when this happens, this can actually be really disastrous for markets, even worse than when nobody knows the thing, right? If nobody knows how good a car is, then yeah, maybe sometimes you end up with a good car, sometimes you end up with a bad car, but you know, what are you gonna do? Sometimes you get a bad car. But if they know whether it's a good car or not and you don't, well, then they have the ability to get one over on you. They can make sure that you're getting a bad car because bad cars are probably cheaper to produce. This can lead to what's called the market unraveling. Let's talk about what the market unraveling means. So let's imagine there are two kinds of used cars. There are good used cars and there are bad used cars. And there are some used car sellers out there who are willing to sell a really good used car, an honorable car for an honorable price, right? However, you as the consumer don't have the ability to tell before you buy whether a particular car is good or bad, right? You go to the car sellers and you say, hey, do you sell the good cars or do you sell the bad cars? And they'll say, oh, we sell the good cars. And then you go to the other car seller and you say, hey, do you sell the good cars or do you sell the bad cars? They say, oh, we only sell good cars here, right? Because their incentive is to lie to you and misrepresent their quality. So if they're actually selling good cars, they'll say, yes, I'm selling a good car. And if they're actually selling bad cars, they're going to say, yes, we're selling a good car. And you as the consumer have no way of distinguishing the two. So what's going to happen in this market? Well, a couple of things are going to happen. So for one thing, there's not really a good reason to actually sell a good car because you could sell a good car and charge a good car price for it, but you could just as easily sell a bad car and charge a good car price for it, and no one would know the difference until it's too late to get their money back. So, you know, first of all, the high quality sellers are going to have reason to leave the market and just sort of start selling low quality goods instead, because why not? Second, people are going to start losing trust in the market. Let's say that you go in and you happen to know for a fact, somehow you read some sort of report somewhere that half of all cars are good and half of them are bad. Well, you know, you're taking a gamble at that point. You roll the dice. Half the time you get a good car, half the time you get a bad car. But you're willing to pay, you know, more than you might pay for a bad car because there's some chance that it's a good car, right? But you're not willing to pay as much as you would just pay for a good car. Let's say you're willing to pay $10,000 for a really good car and $2,000 for a really bad car. And since you're rolling the dice, maybe you'll pay $5,000. Well, $5,000 might not be enough to cover the costs of selling you a good car. So not only is it in the incentive of the good car sellers to sort of start selling the bad stuff, because who can tell the difference? They might not even have the option to profitably sell the good cars anymore because they can't prove to anybody that they're good. And so people aren't going to be willing to pay the price that it takes to provide a good car. So you're going to end up with the good car sellers either going shady or leaving the market entirely because they can't possibly support themselves selling actually good cars because they cost too much to produce, more than people are willing to pay when they know there's a chance they might get a dud. That's the market unraveling. The good car sellers can't even exist anymore. The whole market for good quality used cars ceases to exist because nobody's able to verify that they're actually good before they buy them. So there's no way that you can keep a market like that running because you might as well start selling the low quality stuff. Now, this is bad for everybody. It's bad for the high quality sellers because they can't sell the high quality cars anymore. Their whole market goes away. It's bad for consumers because, I mean, once all the good quality cars leave, they know they're going to get a bad car. So they at least know what they're getting. But they don't have an option anymore to get a high quality car. A good example of this, for example, is the word gourmet. Have you ever seen food sold as gourmet? Well, that's an example where the word doesn't mean anything anymore. At this point, there was a point in the past where saying that your food was gourmet meant that it was probably pretty good. But over time, the good quality gourmet food left the market because there's no way beforehand to verify, is it actually gourmet or is it just saying that it's gourmet? And now all the good quality gourmet food has left the market. And if you see somebody that advertises itself as gourmet, you know that it's bad, right? Gourmet food is like a pizza sold at a movie theater, right? So that is a market that has unraveled. All the high quality stuff has left the gourmet food market. So it's bad for the consumer because you no longer have the option to buy the high quality gourmet food or the high quality car. It's also not even good for the low quality sellers who were causing this whole problem in the first place, right? You might think, oh, well, the low quality sellers, they get to sell at the high quality price because they get to lie about the quality of their car. But that only works for a short period of time. As soon as the high quality sellers all leave, you can't possibly pretend or convince anybody that you're a high quality seller because there aren't any anymore. So you can still call your car high quality. You can still call your food gourmet, but everybody knows that it's bad and you can only charge a bad car price for it. So you're not even any better off than you were before. The market has unraveled. This is an information problem. The market stopped existing because we did not have the requisite information to know what we were buying. Okay, so that's a big problem. That's can lead to the entire market falling apart. However, we still have used car markets. So clearly it did not actually happen like that. Why? Well, we had what was called a signal. A signal is something that can solve this information problem for us. Not perfectly, but it can solve it. What a signal is something that is, so what we have basically with the asymmetric information problem, with the lemons problem, is that we have an incentive to lie. Okay, we have high quality cars, low quality cars, and the low quality cars have an incentive to tell you that they are in fact a high quality car. And they have the ability to lie, and they have the incentive to misrepresent themselves. What a signal does is it makes it expensive to lie. That is the goal of having a signal. A signal needs to be something that it's a signal that you can send, a message that you can send to other people. But it can't just be telling them. You can't just be saying, hey, I have a high quality car. Because just saying I have a high quality car is equally cheap for both the actual high quality cars and the low quality cars. What a signal does, a good signal, is it is more expensive to send the signal if you are trying to misrepresent yourself. So, for example, a car inspection. If you have a third-party car inspection, something like Carfax, right? Now, maybe you could bribe the Carfax person to pretend that your car is better than it actually is. But that's a cost that you'd have to pay if you're misrepresenting yourself that you wouldn't have to pay if you're trying to be honest. So the honest car gets a cheap Carfax report. The dishonest car has to pay the extra bribe. And if the bribe that you'd have to pay is high enough, you're not even going to bother paying it. You're just going to say, fine, I admit it, I'm a bad car. That's the goal of the signal, to get the bad cars to admit they are bad cars. Another example of this is a warranty. If your used car dealership offers a warranty, that's a good signal that they are selling high quality used cars. Why is that? Well, if you are actually selling a high quality used car, a warranty is cheap to offer because you're not going to have to actually use the warranty because your car is not going to break down. If you're actually selling a low quality used car, you're going to have to pay out on that warranty. And so it's very expensive for you to offer a warranty. It's cheap for a high quality car to offer a warranty. And so it becomes so expensive to lie that you're not going to be bothering to do it. It's still possible to lie. Signals don't make it impossible to lie. That's important. But what they do make it is so expensive to lie that it's no longer in your interest to do so. So high quality car manufacturers, or high quality used car sellers can prove that they are high quality by offering warranties and by having external car inspections. This does not make it impossible to misrepresent yourself as a high quality seller, but it makes it expensive enough that you are not willing to send the signal. You are not willing to lie because the incentive for lying is no longer there because lying has become too expensive. Now, this is good. This keeps the market from unraveling. It allows the market to keep in place because you can now, as a consumer, tell what you're getting because the good quality stuff is going to send the signal because it is inexpensive for them to send it, and the low quality stuff is not going to send the signal because it is too expensive for them to bother. So you know as a consumer what you're getting. This is not perfectly efficient, though, because the high-quality sellers still had to waste money sending the signal. If we knew before we bought the car whether it was high quality or low quality just because we could see it with our eyes, then we wouldn't need to spend all that money on warranties. We wouldn't need to spend all that money on external car inspections. But the fact that we do, and that burden falls on the high quality sellers, they have to spend money to prove that they're good, while the low quality sellers are just like, yeah, we're bad, buy it or love it or leave it, right? So it's not perfectly efficient. It's what's called a second best solution. A first best solution would be that everybody just knows what they're getting and there's no information problem whatsoever. A second best solution is when we don't know what we're getting, but we learn what we're getting because of the signal. And so we had to expend all that wasteful energy on sending the signal, but in the end, we do know what we're getting and it allows the market to stick together. All right, that's the basics of asymmetric information. Somebody knows something, somebody else does not. This gives you an incentive to misrepresent yourself. And so the market falls apart because we don't know what it is that we're buying, and so the high quality stuff can't really justify existing. We can fix this problem with a signal. A signal is something that is more expensive to send if you are trying to misrepresent yourself than if you are telling the truth. It makes it more expensive to lie. If it can make it expensive enough to lie, you're not going to bother lying at all. You'll just admit that you're low quality. And this will allow us to distinguish high quality from low quality goods, keeping the market together. All right, thank you.